Okay, thanks everyone for being here today. And thank you, Naren, for allowing me to host and for giving me the floor. I wanted to start off with a few words of as to why I love Panvala and I've become a part of Panvala. I found out about Panvala during M1 earlier this year, and I listened to Steph and I listened to Naren talk about just the incredible work that they were doing. And I was in such awe to hear that there was an organization out there who wanted to bring people together and made themselves available to support people who wanted to have events, wanted to host parties, wanted to onboard other individuals onto Web3. But not only that, they also wanted to support individuals who weren't necessarily in the Web3 ecosystem because there's something that actually stood out to me that Naren said a while back, and it had to do a lot with not necessarily social capital, but understanding that there's something really important in paying attention to people and how everything starts with people. Everything that we're doing in the Web3 ecosystem starts with you and I. It starts with people like yourself, like myself. And it's all about bringing people like you and I together in order for us to create something bigger than ourselves. And if we focus on the communities first, we're going to be able to expand from there and really create something bigger beyond the communities, which could essentially go on to things like the technology we're building, like the DAOs we're building, the applications we're building, and things of that sort. All right, so I'll go ahead and get started. We did have a couple introductions already, but I would love for anyone who's who's new to the organization to introduce themselves, or if there are any new community members to give just a quick introduction, anywhere from like just your name and a quick 30-second spiel about how you found out about Panvala and what brought you here. If you don't pick, I'll pick you.
I guess it makes sense. Oh, sorry. Thank you. Yeah, I guess it makes sense for me to say a few things. Hi, my name is George. I'm representing the Humanetics Workshop, and we are a new community in the Panvala League and the Panvala community. The Humanetics Workshop is a community that thrives, or that tries to provide a space to proof of personhood practitioners, researchers, and developers, so that we can move the space forward and kind of bring everybody together and promote it a little bit. These protocols include things like Red ID, IDENA, Proof of Humanity, Upala, and a few others that basically all share the same goal, and that is to try and identify humans on the blockchain for various use cases in the crypto lending world, NFTs, digital identity, and so on and so forth. But yeah, we're very excited to be a part of Panvala.
I can go as well. Hi, everyone. I'm Draven. I'm working on the GeoWeb project, which is a new applicant to the Panvala League. The GeoWeb is a set of open protocols for anchoring digital content to physical locations. So think augmented reality. And we're doing that by administering an NFT land market that corresponds one-to-one with the real world, and administering that under a partial common ownership or harborer tax system. All of the proceeds from that land market are put back into public goods. And so I heard Naren on a Twitter space, just so aligned with the opportunities that we have, the goals that we should have for social coordination, and the great things that we can do with Web3 technology, and making sure value flows to the people.
All right. If no one else, I'll give you going once, going twice. All right, there are going to be more opportunities for people to speak moving forward. So thank you for sharing, Graven, George. All right, and this is a list of our communities currently in the league. As many of you may recognize these logos. We have new communities constantly joining, and I know that I am constantly trying to encourage my friends to come and join Panvala, because why not, right? You have a support system of incredible individuals. And if there's anyone here with either of these organizations, I also encourage you to speak up. Would love to hear from you and to hear any updates of what's going on in your community, what you've been working on. Otherwise, we'll move forward. Okay, so last month, at last month's town hall, we had One Hive present. They are a new community in our league. We've also had a Bread Chain Coop, and of course, ArtFan, Micro Solidarity, Humanetics, and GeoWeb. I know we have ArtFan here. So if you'd like to give us a quick spiel, Schuyler, we'd appreciate that.
Sure thing. Skylar. No worries, it's all good. Yeah, and I mentioned it before. Basically, an online art marketplace, giving artists new virtual tools. We have everything from different LiDAR scanning devices to photogrammetry, VR, AR technology, kind of all that wrapped in. I guess what was the second part? What was the second part of what I was supposed to talk about? Just updates, is that it?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, we're kind of in a holding phase right now, really looking to work with artists, like trying to onboard more Web3 artists to work with on new concepts so that we can, practice our marketing and use our technologies to help create more digital derivatives. So if there's anybody here that's interested or knows anybody, please send them our way. And if there's any questions, I'd be happy to answer, or any clarification from anybody here. I'd be happy to just, take my time now to answer any questions. Okay. Was there anything else, Stephanie?
I have a question.
Okay.
So it sounds like you're creating tools for artists. I'm curious, what inspired you or your co-founders to get started on such a project? Do you have an art background? Are you an artist?
Well, no, I'm not I used to do ceramics a long time ago. Art was always my extracurricular choice. And then the business model canvas kind of became my centerpiece for art. And what I've always enjoyed doing with business is helping creatives and small business owners with the background experience on anything from legal, insurance, financial, tax stuff, and the Web 2 world, just kind of helping them get their feet under them and understanding the business landscape in order to help them take their creativity and run with it and create a lifestyle for it. And there was always, I did a lot of my work primarily in the festival circuit, so different a lot of different festival vendors primarily, like that you might have known from Burning Man or all the different ones out there. But there was always the segment of the market, the artist, who it seemed like needed my support the most, but really didn't have the resources to be able to say hire me. And after really kind of discovering that their needs are I can meet their needs with technology more so. That's kind of what transitioned me into more hands-on with artists in the technology world. I basically have been self-taught development the last year, putting all this together, and just doing as much as I can to help the creative. We see, if you look at a decade or 2 decades ago in the music space, independent musicians and kind of what that world looked like before the technology, the MP3 technology basically started evolving to where you see now, where we have SoundCloud or Pandora, where it really gives artists more freedom to get their music out there rather than more of a plantation model of how it used to be. And we see with Web3 technology and XR technology, that kind of that same thing is happening for visual artists. And we're kind of like right there helping the physical artist transition into a more of a Web3 world. Yeah, I guess that kind of.
Awesome. Thank you.
Can I interject really quick?
Sure.
We haven't told Graven yet that GeoWeb was approved. So surprise, you are. I was going to email you this morning. So I just wanted to say that.
Okay,
You
thank
can
you.
always interrupt with great news. All right. Thank you so much, Skylar. Appreciate it. And congratulations, Graven. All right. And now we have a very special guest. I had the great pleasure of meeting Unai earlier last week, and I was very touched by his story, and also love meeting incredible people who are constantly working for the greater good of not just themselves, but just their neighbors and other individuals in the world. So Unai works with, or actually founded, Njombe Innovation Academy. I'll let him tell you a little bit more. And actually, I can share the slides with you, or Unai, would you like to share your screen?
I can do that.
Okay. Naren, is it possible to give Unai hosting privileges?
I think he has it. So if you stop sharing your screen, he'll be able to share.
Perfect. There we go.
Is it visible now?
Yes.
So yeah, thanks a lot for this opportunity of presenting Njombe Innovation Academy here at Panvala with so many great people. First of all, some geography. So we are based in Tanzania, here in the east coast of Africa. Specifically, we are in Njombe, which is a region located close to this lake called Malawi Lake. As you can see, Tanzania is also surrounded by two big other lakes, Victoria Lake, Tanganyika Lake. So agriculture is a huge thing here. And going to Njombe Innovation Academy, we have the goal of unleashing the potential of youth to solve local challenges through social enterprises. Well, why do we want to do that? Because we believe there are local youth. We use this metaphor of a caterpillar who have a lack of income generation opportunities, as well as a lack of the skills or the mindset to actually change that situation. And at the same time, they have untapped potential to do that. And we also see that in Njombe, there are challenges, like some of them very obvious, like some of them less obvious, like everywhere in the world, right? But for example, there is HIV, there is malnutrition, there is gender imbalance. And our ecosystem, especially the business ecosystem, and yeah, in general, the ecosystem is not very collaborative. So in order to change that, we propose this model. It's called the 5-stage empowerment model, where following that metaphor, caterpillars become butterflies, right? Who are able to fly. This process is like a group of young people, like 20, 30 to 40, live together, and that's a key part, like self-organized. They live together in a self-organized way in a community during 9 months, and they undergo these 5 stages. So as time goes, like they increase their freedom as well as their responsibility. So they take on tasks, roles, responsibilities for the whole community. And at the same time, they develop like both personally and professionally, so that at the end of that process, some of them are teams of those scholars, we call them scholars, create social enterprises that tackle challenges that align well with their personal purpose. So this is our roadmap. In January 2022, 2 people from Njombe, from Tanzania, young people from Njombe will go to Uganda, and they will stay there for 9 months, so that they will experience this 5-stage empowerment process during 9 months, get all the skills, then come back so that in the end of 2022, beginning of 2023, we can run the first cohort of Njombe Innovation Academy in Tanzania. In the meantime, in Njombe, we want to grow our community, to create locally network and meet people. We also are looking for a space where this community will live together. And we also want to establish connections like we are doing today, right? Like, because we will need coaches, facilitators, mentors for all these young people. Yeah. You might be wondering why I'm talking about Uganda. That's because this 5-stage empowerment process is not something new. It has been developed by SINA, which stands for Social Innovation Academy, which is a social innovation academy in Uganda, in this beautiful place. And that's where the scholars there live. And yeah, SINA has been running already for 5 years with super nice results. So a lot of scholars who have created dozens of social enterprises, they have received a lot of awards. And here you can see a number of those enterprises on the right. Well, here they are. And actually, I invited one of the scholars from Uganda, but unluckily, I thought that the call was 1 hour before, so she had a problem and she cannot join today. The plan was that she presented her experience at SINA in Uganda today, so that you can know, how life is there and what being at SINA has been for her, like both professionally and personally. So I don't know. I'm just thinking that maybe she can join the next town hall and make a short presentation, because it's a big pity that she's not here. And then talking, so as in summary, this is like the replication, we call the replication of SINA, of Social Innovation Academy, we call it NIA, Njombe Innovation Academy. And it's this place where we will help young people create and support social enterprises. But we also care about the economic sustainability of this academy. And for that, in the short term, we are collecting donations on Giver, on Gitcoin, matching from Panvala, and so on. We are also looking for local donors and just applying to normal grants. But on the medium term, the idea is that social enterprises which are created or established from at NIA redirect part of their profits to NIA, so that NIA can keep running. We would also like to offer business support to local businesses. And at some point, we would like to experiment with some of the tools of Web3, who knows, like community currencies or something like that. So that in that way, we would create a model where NIA business and the social enterprises can fund through their profits all the operations at Njombe Innovation Academy. And that's all. Yeah, it's a pity again that Mary is not here today. She cannot make it. But yeah, and with this presentation, of course, we wanted to ask for your feedback. So to tell us, why do you think we will fail? What are we missing? What would help us fulfill our vision? And especially, how can we collaborate? What can you get from us? What can we offer to you? And what can you offer to us? So yeah, we are part of the Regenerative Commons Coalition, by the way, where we give you some others. So that's all. Thanks.
I have a question. Maybe I missed it, but is this free for all the people who participate in it?
Yeah, yeah, I didn't mention it also. In general, participants, I mean, I don't like to say like that, but they are marginalized young people. So they are people who are, for example, orphans, albinos, they might have HIV, etc., etc. So in general, yeah, it's like that. It's not actually we are looking for such people. We are not looking for people with university degrees or who have a lot of opportunities. That's the problem. You know, sometimes like from the experience in Uganda, that's what happened. That if someone who has a lot of opportunities or undergoes the process at SINA might think, okay, this is good. I have these skills and I have this community, etc. But I want to do something else, right? So especially at the beginning, because for us, we are selecting 2 people who will go to Uganda, and they will be the ones leading everything in Njombe, in Tanzania, when they come back. So we need to make sure that these people actually lead that and replicate that, because otherwise they might start doing something else, and that's a failure. So yeah, but it's free, of course.
And what's the selection process for the students that get to participate?
Yeah, it's very fun actually. We organized a selection day where it was 30 people came, and we were playing games basically. So we don't want people to tell us what they do, how good they are, etc. We want to see that. And of course, like once the community is bigger and we already have scholars, those scholars are the ones evaluating and checking how people behave during games. Because when we play, it's when we are ourselves, right? We are not thinking how we should behave, etc., etc. We are just playing. And yeah, it was very fun to do that with these young people, and they were quite like puzzled, like they didn't understand what was going on. Like some were saying, "Oh, I was expecting an interview or stuff like that. I don't get what this is for." And so it was a super nice experience. And actually, we had this problem. We selected 2 people, and one of them dropped because she was hired by the local government. So we are going to do this selection process again in a very small town. So we will do that this coming week, and we are excited for that.
Unai, can I ask you how you got involved with this? Like, what led you to Tanzania and doing this project?
Well, personally, I went to Tanzania 3 years ago, mainly because my girlfriend was there and she loved the place and so on. And now we enjoy our life there. So we plan to stay there. And we are, well, we are working at a local NGO together with many Tanzanians. Well, all of them are Tanzanians, but us too. And so last year, it was 2 years ago, actually, I visited Sina in Uganda because I got to know about it and I really liked it. So I had to leave the country. So I said, why not take this opportunity, go to Uganda, get to know what they are doing there. And yeah. And so it was this year, at the beginning of this year, that we were contacted by like a government authority or a government body, and they were asking us something to do, something related to if we could do or have something related to innovation around the local innovator, which is also a key part. I mean, there is short time, so I cannot talk about everything, but there is a local innovator who is amazing. He's an old guy, self-taught, has not done like finished only primary, and is developing open source technology in our town. So we wanted to do something around him, and we came up with, okay, why don't we replicate Sina and at the same time do something with Sepuago, it's called. So that's where I met Ibra, who is the co-founder, let's say. He's working for another local organization, and since then we are working on Njombe Innovation Academy.
One quick thing, like I really love what your community is doing with this effort. One, like for your question of like how can like Panvala's communities and Njombe Innovation Academy like help each other. Like one thing that I am looking forward to is like what you're doing in within Panvala is relatively like unusual, right? That's like it's not what most communities.
We're leaving right now.
Hold on, let me mute. Okay, so most people are doing something different. So like, I think the more things that fit the mold of more traditional NGO supported efforts, like building up that muscle to be able to support them in the ways that they need is going to be something that gets more and more important as we grow. So really like, we always want to know like what you would look for in a support network for the kind of activities that you do, since it's so different from most of the other communities, so we can build up that infrastructure for you and for other communities like you as we grow.
All right. I'll go ahead and take it back. Thank you, Unai. I really appreciate you sharing with us. And I do encourage that you have someone come back next month and tell us more about her experience. Would love to hear firsthand story. I think that'd be incredible for everyone.
Yeah, looking forward to that. Thanks.
All right. Okay, thankfully we have some fellows here who can talk about the projects that we're happily working on. I know there's been a really exciting project. I hear Kelly and Rachel talk about this, and it seems like this has been a long time coming. Website updates. Sasha isn't here right now, but pretty exciting things that we're making progress. We were looking at the website yesterday, and it looks like it's coming along. Do you want to share some updates with us, Rachel?
Sorry, my little girl's crying. Yeah, so we're hoping our new website is just easier to navigate, more community friendly, easier just to find information, and the feel of it too reflects more of what we believe Panvala is and the people who are a part of our community. So we're hoping that it is all finished by January, so it can be launched. And yeah, I don't know, Naren, maybe I missed something, but.
That's pretty much it. Like at the stage that we're at, we're finalizing the designs, kind of like the final feedback stage. If anybody's particularly interested in diving into what that looks like, I believe the links are actually in the Discord. So they're already available in the website channel in the Discord if you just want to take a look. And if you have any feedback, you can share them with us so we can get that incorporated. But like it's mostly moving on. Like this isn't necessarily a call for feedback, but if you're interested, definitely take a look and let us know. But yeah, we're really excited to get that launched because again, like making sure that people understand what Panvala is when they hit the site is very important, and what Panvala is has changed over time. Like to get to where we're going, getting people to join Panvala was very much the first effort out there. So it's like, hey, here are these communities. They're sharing this token. That's what Panvala is. So we got to that point, and now that there are 69 communities in Panvala, and what we need to say to people is different than what it was before. We need to tell people what we've built up as a network, what's there for them today, beyond just the economic aspect, but also the social aspect and so on. So this is one of many changes as we iterate towards where we're going to become that network of thousands of communities who cooperate to be able to capture more of the value that each and every one of us create in our economy.
Amazing. Thank you, Rachel. Thank you, Naren. All right. And of course, we have here Zaji, who is handling social media for Panvala. Zaji, do you want to share with us a few updates on what you've been working on?
Yeah, I'm mainly trying to get the word out around different perks that Panvala has to offer so that you can access the endowment to access those funds. There's the activities fund. So anything that I can share on social media to kind of bring awareness to the benefits of being a part of Panvala. I've been updating the community every time there's a new community. So if you're new, hopefully I will get more info about you and then I'll do a tweet. In addition to that, if you have any updates, either as a community or as a coalition, I'd love to be able to, post that there's going to be a coalition meeting on X date. I saw that there's an art one tomorrow, so I will make sure to share that. But yeah, just feel free to ping me if you have anything else you want to share. Like when the Panvala Observer goes out, I also share those links on our socials accounts as well. So yeah, always looking forward to connecting people in that way. Thank you.
Thank you. I'm very impressed by everything that you do. You're in DAOs, you have a full-time job, and you volunteer to handle the social media for Panvala. So go you, you're a rock star.
Crypto never stops.
That's awesome. All right. So I know Dr. Kelly introduced herself last week, and I believe David did as well, but I would love for for you two to introduce yourselves again so the community can start getting to know you and how involved you're becoming.
Hi, my name's Kelly. I joined Panvala in October, very passionate about community development and especially uncovering ways how we lead together. So more social ways of leadership. In the last couple of months with Panvala, I've especially been working with Rachel and Espania on revamping coalitions. So we're really looking into coalitions, how they form, what they benefit from, what they really, really love about Panvala, and how we can best support coalitions coming together so that communities help communities, such as the Crypto Art Coalition, who I had the pleasure of learning from a couple of weeks ago. So yeah, that's me.
David, do you want to share a little bit about yourself? Okay. Are there any other fellows here who haven't introduced themselves? All right. I'll give a quick introduction since this is my first town hall. I'm Estefania. I found out about the Fellows Program through Steph Jovian. And for those of you who don't know about the Fellows Program, it's actually an open program for anyone who is interested in being a part of Panvala, being hands-on with Panvala, and helping other organizations or communities. And that could be anything from like what Zaji's doing, helping with social media, to what Dr. Kelly's doing, which is helping with the social engineering of how we're working together. Or what Rachel does and runs coalitions like the Women in Web3 led coalition. So this is really an open, it's a white canvas, so you can make it what you want. And it's really just about adding value everywhere we go. So if you have any questions about that, I recommend going onto the Discord, pinging any of us, or reaching out to Naren directly, booking a meeting on the website. We'd be happy to share more with you about that. All right, so there are open projects, which means that there are bounties to be gathered. So if you're interested in picking up any sort of gigs or interested in helping out with anything that we're working on, there is a Google Sheets that has all of the projects we're working on. And if you feel like you have the skill set and the ability to fulfill such duty, please feel free to take the initiative to take on that role. We'd be happy to guide you through it as well. And yeah, you know where to find us.
I just want to say one thing about that. So if you are interested in becoming a fellow, you can always go on our Discord channel, like Steph said, or we also have a Friday meeting that happens every other week where you can come in and see what projects we're working on, see what projects we're still haven't started yet, but want to begin working on. And if you would, if something looks interesting to you and you want to commit some time to it, then we can get you set up.
Thank you, Rachel. All right, I also wanted to give everyone a quick update. So Panvala was generous enough to sponsor an event that was curated by myself as well as a couple other DAOs and the company I work with. And this was an event hosted on Wednesday of this last week. It was a rooftop pizza party. It was called Reach to the Moon. It started off as sort of just mingling, happy hour, getting to know one another. Rare Pizzas gave us a ton of pizzas for everyone to eat. because they truly believe in sharing pizzas worldwide and bringing people together through food and good energy. We also had other great sponsors come on board to help with this project, like Mask DAO, which is the DAO, the Hash Masks Owners Collectors DAO. We also had NF DAO, who I believe is also a member of Panvala. We also had, who am I missing? We had Panvala, of course, and Reach, the development platform I work with, and Rare Pizzas. We hosted a panel. We talked about things like NFTs, the metaverse, things to look forward to, obstacles everyone's currently dealing with, and how we can come together to continue to evolve the space and innovate within the space. All right. So I know onboarding our communities as well as onboarding new fellows or new members into the space has been, I think, a struggle, not just for Panvala, but across DAOs everywhere. So I'm really excited for us to be taking on this, this project of onboarding and making it as simple as possible for not just us, but for anyone coming in. And I'll let Naren talk about that a little bit more.
Yeah, so we just added on several communities, and this is the first quarterly cycle that many of the new communities are going through. So really over the next week, there's going to be a lot of outreach to those communities individually, directly to like try to orient them, make sure that if they want time to get on a call, that's available to them. But really there's just 2 steps that each community is going to need to do over the next 2 months to start receiving the economic portion of Panvala, their share of the endowment. When it starts being released at the end of January. So those 2 steps are really right now, if they do any fundraising on chain, now's the time to be doing that in concert with Gitcoin grants. So if they have a Gitcoin page, if they have a Giveth page, etc., now's the time to be asking their community for donations if that's the thing that they do. If they don't ask for donations or don't ask for donations on chain, the other way to let Panvala know basically how big your community is to fill out a form that we've put together. And again, that's going to be in the outreach that goes to each new community over the next week. But basically just a form that asks you how many people are in your community, how much do they contribute? If they don't contribute, how many people show up to your biggest recurring event? And then we use those numbers to basically set a cap for each community of how much of the endowment they can earn. You still have to stake tokens, and that's the January part. You still have to stake tokens to earn your share, but we want to make sure that it's not just all about staking tokens. It's not just about being the richest community. It's about holding enough PAN tokens in proportional to the size of your community to earn your proportional share of endowment. That's the general principle about how we share economic things within Panvala. So that second step in January is once we have the final numbers for each community, you'll know how much you can stake, and then either your community as a whole or individual members of each community can get PAN tokens, stake them, and then for last quarter for each PAN token staked, there was 0.18 PAN tokens that went to the community for the quarter. That number changes every quarter depending on how much PAN is staked and what's coming out of the endowment, but that's roughly what's going on there. You instead of giving money from your pocket, you hold on to PAN, and then inflation from Panvala goes to your community instead of what was in your pocket. So those are the 2 steps that are coming up for communities. December is either collecting donations on chain or letting us know the size of your community through the form that I send out. And then January is about actually staking to earn your share, and you'll have a page on panvala.com that tells you how much you can stake and what you get when you do that. So that's really the big steps for onboarding the new communities. We also want to plug you in socially to the different coalitions that are out there. So that's another thing that I want to let you know about. But the biggest things right now are those 2 steps for earning your share of endowment.
Thank you, Naren. All right, I'm gonna go ahead and move forward. We are running out of time. Time flies when you're having fun. All right, I'm not sure if you guys saw, but there was an incredible newsletter that went out talking about the Web3 Women's Coalition. And we are welcoming any other women or even men in the space who are interested in joining the Women-Led Web3 Coalition. So please, if you're interested, join us on Discord and we can tell you more. Rachel leads this coalition, so if you have any specific questions, you can reach out to Rachel directly. Rachel, do you want to give us a few words about that?
Yeah, I wouldn't say I'm the leader. I'm just the coordinator. Yeah, everyone's welcome. We'll be doing this coming month. We'll be doing what's it called? Kind of check-ins with everyone and seeing what different organizations are up to. We haven't done one of those in a number of months. So just to see how we can support each other and what's new within all the different people and organizations that are that come to the call. Ashley is also here from the Regenerative Commons Coalition, if she wants to talk about her coalition at all.
I can honestly say at this point, our coalition has been very quiet. I think a lot of the communities involved have been busy working on their projects, and we're trying to figure out ways to encourage more involvement in the coalition, but I think a lot of people just have a lot of things going on right now. Our meetings happen the first Thursdays of the month, and I can share a link to the calendar here in the chat, but yeah, as of right now, we've been pretty inactive as far as the coalition side and very active within all the communities involved.
And what I'll say about that is, like Kelly mentioned earlier, we are engaging with all the different coalitions to see how we can bring more energy in them, bring more people to them, whether or not they're part of Panvala's community or not, but just people who are doing similar work that can contribute ideas and support each other into these calls. So Ashley's coalition that she coordinates is next on our list.
Amazing, thank you. All right, Michaela's not here. Is there anyone who's a part of the Future of Work Coalition?
So I participate in those calls. Generally, they had a pretty successful move to Twitter Spaces, which is something that several of the coalitions have been trying, just as a way to not just have like closed conversations, but have conversations that people can kind of jump into. Again, that's not appropriate for every coalition. I believe the Women-Led Web3 Coalition specifically likes the fact that it's a closed conversation and it's the people that they've reached out to join that are participating. But for the coalitions that really want to have a bigger audience or invite other people on stage, etc. Twitter Spaces has been a pretty good experiment so far for that. While I'm talking, the Crypto Art Coalition has basically been doing the same thing. Their last month's call was on Twitter Spaces. This one's call is actually tomorrow. So that's all going well there. And then just a quick comment on the whole like ebb and flow of activity within coalitions. Like that's totally normal. Like with what Panvala is all about is cross-community organizing, connecting people across communities, and it's very difficult. People like if you are involved in a community, like most of what's taking up your time is what's going on in your own community. So finding ways to get people engaged in the actual cross-community organizing is always difficult, and there's ebbs and flows in activity, and we just want to be the people who take on that challenge to help make it work over time. So again, it's totally fine if there's like an ebb in the activity in a coalition. We're here to help you like when you're ready to do a push to get people engaged.
And I do believe Kieran's here with the Crypto Art Coalition. Kieran, would you like to say a few words about what you've got going on?
Hi.
Congrats on your move, by the way.
Thank you. Yeah, so I'm part of the Crypto Art Coalition on behalf of NFDAO, and our next meeting is tomorrow. We're also kind of finding it difficult to get engagement with the coalition, but we were speaking to Kelly about that recently, about trying to find ways to bring more people into the calls. And yeah, we moved to Twitter Spaces as well to try that out. So That's what's going on with us. Yep.
Yeah, I would love to get more engaged more with you. So I just messaged you.
Yay.
Cool.
This is
Okay.
how it starts. I'm not too familiar with the Crypto Art Coalition. I too am very curious. Tell me more, like, is it more everyone's just working on their own individual projects and you come together to sort of figure out how we can help one another, or how does that work?
Well, we've just been sharing what the individual projects have been working on in our calls recently. But I think moving forward, there was also an event that we did at NFT NYC, and yeah, moving forward, I think it would be good to find ways of helping each other out, supporting the other projects in the coalition and the other projects in Panvala in general.
Can you drop a good contact for you in the chat so I can grab it before I gotta go?
Yeah, I'll do that.
All right. Thank you for sharing, Kieran. And good luck, Skylar. I think we're going to make it awesome. And I believe Naren's going to talk about the fundraisers coming up and what's happening quarter 4 as we lead into the Panvala's treasury conversation. But I do believe we have a new coalition, which is the Community Builders Coalition. And I believe that started at MCon, if I'm not mistaken. And is Bright ID still looking for a community manager?
I'm not sure that they are. We helped them connect with Torgen, who's the community manager who's in that coalition. And I think it's them out there. So I don't think they're still looking for one, but it is an example of like something that we were actually able to do through that coalition that added value for the people who are there. So that was
amazing. And it seems like right now community managers are a rare breed. So if you need help finding them, Panvala is usually a great place to find people who are interested in community. All right, and I'll let Naren take over now.
Yeah, so we're almost out of time. So really quickly, I already talked a little bit about like the process over December and January for your community earning its share. So I won't go too much into that. Really quick, if you head to panvala.com, it tells you the total what's coming out each quarter. So this quarter, it's a little over 1.5 million pan. And at current prices, that's worth approximately $222,000. That's what comes out total on January 28th from the system to be able to distribute both for Panvala's common needs and the 75% that goes to all the communities within the league. So that's kind of what's happening there. Lastly, on the next slide, really just to put in context what we're doing here, it's not just about earning from a token. Like we see this token as a way to kickstart something special. Like the reason that we focus on cross-community organizing and trying to provide benefits for as many communities as possible is because at its core, Web3 is really a movement for community ownership. People are building community-owned protocols, community-owned financial systems, etc., where the thing that they create is the thing that the community owns. What we're trying to do with Panvala is take that one step further. That is, there's so much value in our economy that does not come from the work that somebody else is doing on something. It comes from the fact that we are there. When it comes to things like advertising, where Facebook and Google make a whole bunch of money by really selling us to other people, like that's something that I think can shift if we get enough communities to work together and give them the tools to capture the value that they create. So again, it's not just about like the token itself. It's about the people we organize to be able to collectively build up our network. And the larger the network is, the more power we have to redirect that flow of value in our economy. So that's what we're here to do. That's what we're kickstarting. That's why we want to grow this to as many communities as possible, because there is strength in the size of the network. And that's what we're all about. So thanks for being here. Thanks for being part of Panvala. And I'm really excited for what we're going to do together.
I feel like Unai might be saying something, but I'm not sure.
No, I was just going to say thank you for that.
All right. Do you want me to wrap it up, Naren?
Yeah, we're at time.
Okay. Thank you everyone for joining us. Really appreciate you taking the time. I do want to just give like 2 minutes if anyone has any questions. I wanted to open up to the floor. Or if you haven't introduced yourselves, if you just want to give like a quick 30-second introduction, that'd be fantastic. I see Michael, you unmuted yourself.
Yeah. It's a pleasure to be on this call. I am Michael Jerry, and I'm a tech curious person and blockchain person. I work as a digital marketer for blockchain and tech products, or helping them with conversions and awareness. And I host meetups and conferences, as well as reaching out to universities here in Nigeria, educating them about blockchain, cryptocurrencies, and other opportunities in the space. So I was invited by David, and it's a pleasure to actually be on the call today. Thanks, guys.
Thank you.
Good to have you. There are going to be more marketing opportunities to contribute to Panvala coming forward. So we definitely want to talk to you about getting more involved.
Yeah, thank you. I look forward to that.
Jack or Jefferson, do either of you want to introduce yourselves? Or forever hold your peace. Okay. All right. Thank you so much, everyone. I hope you have an excellent rest of your day, an excellent rest of your week. We will see you at the next one. Please follow us on Twitter, join us on Discord, and if you have any questions, feel free to just ping us directly. Be happy to answer anything.
Thank you.
Thanks, everyone. Bye.
Thanks, everyone.
Thanks,
Thanks for
everyone.
hosting, Stephanie. Have a good one, everybody.
Thank you, Stephanie. Bye.